Wonderful. Welcome. I called this or titled this call The Gifts of Healing because as I've been journeying with Bridget, I've really recognized just the abundance of healing and the generosity of healing that she always provides. And, it can come through so many channels and so many gifts and crafts and illuminations. And sincerely, Bridget, Our Lady of First Light, Our Lady of Inspiration. In Irish, we call this Imbus, right? Our Lady of Hope, of Serenity, of Fountain Ever Flowing, of Swan Taking Flight. This lady, this triple goddess and saint, bridger of primordial light and patriarchy. Right? What a profound womb. What a profound womb to hold both the Merlin and the meek, the pastor and the farmer. What a profound womb. So I just want to invite all of us to feel into our relationship here, first and foremost with Imbolc, with the season, with Bridget, and just invite that in our own personal recognition, our own personal relationship. Mhm. In my journeys, my travels with Bridget, I've recognized that's truly um, what her essence speaks is it's our own personal relationship between the divine spark, between the divine well, between the water and the flame, and the way that this healing and this inspiration flows through us and our capacity to continue to hold these things as our families, our communities, the greater world sphere continues to traverse the effects of colonization, continues to traverse capitalism, opposition, and essentially the medicine of Bridget is liberation, liberation and sovereignty, and the inspiration that ignites our path to liberation and sovereignty. So all in all, incredibly healing gifts that she provides. And my personal medicine of the season has been to remain in flow with her as much as possible. So when I say remain in flow with her, it's remain in flow of the inspiration that Bridget provides to me and so generously. Like just being on this call with all of you, I see a Bridget, right, in each and every one of you. It's all of us gathering here together in her high name. Her high name, each and every one of us, our high name, Hail Bridget. Each and every one of us gathering here is an act of Bridget. Hail Bridget. She isn't necessarily some greater outer divinity that we can't touch. Bridget is holding this divine feminine embodiment. That's essentially what Bridget translates to, in my opinion. Of course, exalted one, holy name, high name would be a literal translation. What I feel in my soma, though, what I feel in my body is very similar to how I recognize the name Sophia, right? But Bridget specifically is calling in a certain essence, a certain culture, a certain bloodline, a certain grail, right? Each and every one of us have a connection to the land upon which her seeds have first sprouted. And of course, like all blessed druids, the Brigidines, the Brigids, we are nomadic. So the seeds from which we first started, which perhaps were the Celtic Isles, the British Isles, perhaps it was even a little bit further north, you know, also carrying the name of Bridget. Um, can somebody turn off their mic, please? Thank you, dear. Okay. So the seeds where we first sprouted, somewhere perhaps in the Celtic Isles, the British Isles, maybe somewhere in France, maybe somewhere a little bit further north, all of this is Brigid territory, the name in which we know her today. And also we can see her seeds that have scattered all across Europe. There's even a Brigid healing and love and tapestry woven in New Orleans and Louisiana. She made her way through all the different sort of nomadic ways and effects of colonization, all the way down to the bottom of Louisiana, there in the in the Creole country. There's a very strong representation of Bridget there as well. She is wings wide open. This is a massive womb grid, and I just want to honor it today so very much because I can feel the pulse. She is so alive, and it brings me to tears every time I tune into it because it's such a recognition about how all of us here with our open hearts are turning towards this healing. We're turning towards the divine feminine. We're turning towards the actual embodiment of ourselves as divinity in the way that we come together in community as divinity, in the way that we support each other in these invisible networks that women weave, right? The midwife driving through the night to the birth, these invisible networks, that we weave. This is what we are coming together to honor, to put on our table, to put on our altars, to continue to sing into and uplift. And I really recognize how Imbolc is such a time to rejoice right now after such a tumultuous season that we've had, whether it's different natural disasters. My parents lost their home with Helene, and so many of my dear friends, people that are here on this call, have been really affected by the hurricane. And then, of course, the fires. People on the call here are affected by the fires. We're all, in effect, whether directly or just like one person away, really feeling the effects of this. And of course, we've been in such a political back and forth, such a political conflict, echo chamber of poison, sincerely. And it's been all around. And so for Bridget to come together right now so strongly, that is her walk, that is her way, that is her prayer, that is how she's incarnated here on this planet. There's all sorts of stories and mythos that I really honor, and I do love to read about her. But what I'm really more interested in is how she's showing up for us and each and every one of us, and how we are receiving this nourishment, because it is wildly nourishing, in my opinion. I turn towards Bridget and I'm like, Bridget, I'd love a song. And she's like, here's 10. She is just so wildly nourishing, generously nourishing the inspiration that flows from that fountain. Um, yeah, I'm honoring it right now. I'm seeing the guardians there, honoring those guardians. I'm seeing those guides. I'm seeing the people, the beings, the folk and our ancestors who have walked before us to help nourish this fountain and keep it strong and flowing and effervescent. Yeah. So if you have somewhere right now in your body where you can just feel her presence, the presence of the divine feminine, of Bridget, of Mary of the Gales, I want to invite you to bring your hands there. Just noticing where you can feel her, which is essentially you receiving the divine feminine through her name, her high name, her holy name, where we all gather as one. We speak the name Bridget and we all receive a resonant vibration. However that shows up for you individually right now, I invite you to bring your hands there. Mm. Mm-hmm. We'll just take some moments. Just see what happens. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to have a conversation or communication, or even if you would like to invite her flame our essence to be just a little bit stronger, just even more palpable, even more brilliant, even more rooted here on this planet, taking up space within a grid that wants us to remain small, independent. Inviting this light into our systems is a form of opposition. It's a direct harmony with the she, with the elementals that have nothing but love to share with us. Can we invite that in just a little bit more? There is a truth about the essence of Bridget, and it's that she is not one of the hiding ones necessarily. She is one of the shining ones. You know, that the light of Bridget understands that the more we shine, the brighter we allow ourselves to be here on this planet, actually, the more protected we are, the more provided for we are. And understandably, our human bodies can tremble, can shake when we bring our radiance, when we bring our fullness out into these arenas of such conflict and misunderstanding and straight up violence. This has been violent, what's going on. It's violent. And the legacy of Bridget is, can you shine even brighter, beloved, with this love, with this truth, with this inspiration? Can you be the wellspring? Can you behold water immortal? The immortality of the Grail, the immortality of our ancestors, of the She. Can you be the eternal flame where there is nothing in this world that you could ever say or do that would keep me from loving you? This flame will remain lit. No poison, no toxicity, no cartoon that can put this flame out. It exists in all dimensions. It makes its way through the tiniest eye of the needle, where only truth remains. Bridget, a bridger of primordial light, of the She, of that original light of creation, that spark of conception. Each and every one of us and every single one of our cells, this is the legacy here, holds the light. This light where no harm can actually occur from this place. Each and every one of us holding this. This is the eternal flame of Bridget. This is the flame of transformation, the imbas, the inspiration, the creativity that could never harm. Bridget, the midwife. Bridget, the keeper of the forge, where we go in to shed our skin like snakes, welcoming the year of the snake, a planetary forge, a Plutonian reckoning. Mhm. The forge is also the womb. the cycles and the seasons. And the one who flies and tends these edges, the bridger, this is the legacy of the swan, the heritage of the swan, the woman that shapeshifts, the swan woman. She moves from the other world back into this conflicted, colonized world, into the other world, into the conflicted, colonized world, braiding truth, braiding harmony, and performing miracles. The Brigidine sisterhood is a sisterhood of miracles. The way that the swan first tends is through the family, is through the hearth, is through the home, is through the land, and the relationship with place. And as that relationship deepens into the relationship that could never falter, her wings, they arrive. She's able to fly, 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 shape-shifting into any which way she needs in order to plant these seeds of truth. She can walk into any room. She carries that vibration of truth. The swan woman. Mhm. And so if you have any sort of purifications with you, I'm going to start again here with my ash tree, the tree of Bridie's Wells. If you have any purifications, I just invite you to bring it into your space and we can purify what doesn't remain in this vibration, whatever has shed so far. Of course, our purifications help to cleanse and they also help to fortify what's real. It's a prayer. And the smoke is very much like a swan, moving through dimensions, moving through computer screens. There's no borders or boundaries for the spirit of smoke. So as we all sit with here with our smokes together, with our purifications, with our plants, perhaps we can envision them all meeting one another and amplifying in the space and sharing their gifts with our communities, with the world, traveling exactly where the prayer is needed now. So I have some songs to share, and these songs are, I'm sure, one of the first of many albums. There's there's 5 songs in a written word, and they're called Swan Songs for Bridget. This is volume 1. And the medicine here of these songs, for me personally, has been so much about tending to the creations as they present themselves and sending them off into the world without over managing them, you know, without taking too much time to edit them. Really, not much editing. However it comes through is how it comes through. And that has really been the medicine here for me with Bridget. It's about not having perfection, but it's about just the quality of the transmission. the rawness of the transmission. And that medicine has brought forward edges, a lot of edges for me, edges of power. And I recognize that Bridget tends these edges of power, and her inspiration and the way that it flows is not an overly processed inspiration. It's not an overly edited or carefully crafted necessarily inspiration, but it's woven of the thread in the moment. Because as we continue to go back and look at these creations and craft and craft and craft and craft, effects of colonization start to leak in, right? Effects of different hidden ego dynamics start to leak in, and it doesn't necessarily, damage the creation in any way, but it starts to become something else. It starts to become something different. And this is what I've really wanted to hold so sacred with these songs. And it's been such a process of communication, even with everybody that's helped support um, these songs. And what's interesting is there's like an error on Spotify. They haven't arrived yet. And I've spoken with Spotify, and it was so sweet. A sister yesterday, it's like, you know, she said something like, the power of the goddess is just like, blowing up the systems everywhere. Like, they have it. They're not able to arrive. And as they did start to arrive on social media, I could tell that the quality of the songs like went through some sort of process. I don't, they like enhanced it, like the computer enhanced it in a way, which I'm hoping that it won't happen on Spotify, but I might even have to re-upload all these songs so it doesn't have this sort of automatic, what a gift, we've enhanced your music sort of overlay. With that said, I really want to share these songs. They're alive. They are beautiful. They have great transmissions in them, and I love them so much. So thanks for being here and wanting to also share in that with me. And yes, for the first song is called Swan Song. And it came in with the medicine of wild rose, and very much just in this dragon body process here, because I've been preparing to hold kind of a large dragon body awakening. I'm recognizing day more every day how what I've actually signed up for. But I'm holding this larger dragon body awakening that's just beginning this week. So if any of you are in that container, love you, blessed be, here we go. Um, so this swan song, it came in as I was really in this process of proclamation. Like, I don't want other people to tell me who I am. I want to tell myself who I am, and I want to let other people know who I am instead of there being assumption. I've lived a lot with people just assuming who I am, and it's just felt easier. And I really don't care. I don't really have much to prove in that regard. But as I was starting to move through this eye of the needle of this next dragon body space, all these other ideas of what people think, like who I am, they couldn't go with me. So it was actually the moment that I had to put that staff in the earth. And so I want to share that because this is part of the energetics of this song. It's a wild rose song. It's a proclamation of who you are and moving into those energetics. And I want to share the lyrics. And if anybody wants to sing along, please feel free. Mhm. Can you see that all right? Okay. And I just want to invite your swan bodies. I just want to invite your swan bodies. The swan body is a version of a dragon body. It's a Gaelic, it's a ancient Fae dragon body. It's how the wise womb women, the womb shamans of the Brigidine lineage were recognized. They were called swans. Swans, we use the symbol of swan. It's the way that we communicated. It's blessed constellation of Cygnus and the ways in which that constellation and those stars and those that cosmic mythos has informed us and continues to inform us and engage with us in reciprocal ways, right? The Cygnus constellation, the swan and the stars, very much the wings of Bride, wings of Bridget. So if you'd like to bring your wings, please do. In the I don't think I can share my screen and share my sound at the same time. Is that true? It is true. Thank you, Christina and Aaron, responding to me. Yeah, it's true. What do we do? Any ideas? Should I put a link in the somewhere?
I like
that
that.
Right.
Hi, tech support.
Thank you.
When you go to share your screen,
Yeah.
and you click share, there should be a thing on the right that says share sound.
I'm sharing sound currently. So I share screen now?
Hit share screen and then see if there's an option to share sound. Because you should be able to do both.
Okay, wait. Do I want mono or stereo?
That I do not know.
Okay. I think stereo. Wow. Thank you, Caitlin. Can you hear it? Okay, amazing. Okay, my friends. Thank you. I'm going to be offering just some love and some magic and some energy during the song. And if you'd also like to join the prayer, feel free. In the white light that streams from our ancient bones, there's an echoing, a promising of the darkest night in the philosopher's stone. The swan sings the alchemical tone. The swan sings ordinary love, ordinary heart. Is the extraordinary magic of the harp she strums, of the mother drum, of the ancient of the ancient bridge to remember, timeless trails, the roots of Gaia streaming, Bridget of the Grail, Bridget of the Grail, swan song, Bridget of the Grail, fly on the wings of swan, tune to the Vulvic mystery, the great cosmic womb. Fly of the mother drum of the harp she strums. Mm. Mhm. Mhm. Yay. Oh, I'm so glad you could feel Bridget, Alicia. Yay. Yeah, so I was asked to share a little bit more about how it came through the Wild Rose, and I'd love to. So, um, yeah, all of the songs they arrive in, I just like to say one fell swoop because they arrive, um, the entire song arrives at the same time, and it all arrives at once. And if I don't catch it, it'll just go back off into the ethers. So I've made it a fun practice of hitting the record button as it arrives. Um, and as I was sitting with Wild Rose, I was in the water. I was doing some integration from a Wild Rose diet that just ended, and some sisters just left. Audrey and Cher Star had just left. They were the helpers for that retreat, and we had such a really, really beautiful swan time together. Um, Really beautiful. And I was just in the waters with the Wild Rose, with the potion. I was singing Arcana. I was singing protection on the retreat, and recognizing just the way that, the darkest night, we hear about the dark night of the soul. Of course, we all understand that. That's why we're here. That's why we're gathered. We wouldn't be gathering here if we hadn't explicitly experienced that in probably more than one ways in this life already, right? Many, many blessings to that moment. That is what the forge is. Bridget, she's a keeper of the forge. The darkest night is a keeper of the forge. And the promise of the Grail lineage, the promise of the primordial Grail lineage, which is the wild rose, right? The wild rose essence is that there will be a philosopher's stone at the end of that journey. And it's not even so much the end, but there will be a series of gifts, right? A series of philosopher's stones where our soul just becomes ever more present, becomes ever more eternal. Our flame becomes ever more immortal. The waters in our body become ever living, a fountain of life, a holy grail. And so the wild rose essence is very much woven into that song, the wild rose being the primordial Bridget, the Bridget before she had to transfigure into a saint, into a nun, into a woman of the next iteration of Christ, of God. The Brigidine sisters, the primordial light are of the primordial light, of the light of the Fae, of the light of the She. And in order to keep that treasure alive, right, we found ourselves gathered in all sorts of ways that women can gather safely, and that happened to be a convent. It happened to be in the way of the nun, right? So the wild rose is the magic of the rose before she was cultivated, before she was colonized. And that's very much what Bridget returns us to, and helps us be a bridge between that truth of our ancestry of the wild rose and, of course, the rose that we see in the English garden as well, right? Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And so I do have another song, and the next one is Water Immortelle. And so it's very much to what I just spoke to regarding those immortal waters and the way that the Brigidine sisters, the priestesses of Bridget, each and every one of us as a Bridget ourselves, we make our pilgrimages to the holy waters, the wild waters of this planet to attune with the original memory of who we are and to guard and guide and hold that original memory of who we are. in the wild water and the water immortelle, understanding that no matter where the water has traveled, through what sort of polluted river or colonized, capitalized system, that inside of it, in the center of the center, will always remain that water immortelle. And inside of us, in the center of the center, there is an aspect of us that is also immortal. This is the legacy of the Grail. And Bridget is a midwife of this legacy. And so the women, and of course the men, all sorts of individuals, beings, guardians, fae, the well maidens, as we are called, we tend this well, we tend this healing, we tend these waters. And this song, Water Immortelle, is about awakening into the power and the medicine of water through our imagination, through nostalgia, through a sort of visionary journey where we can really taste and smell and live in the marriage of the water and the sun, and that original primordial marriage, right, of the water and the sun. So I'd like to share this song as well. Oh, this one. And my beloved Patrick, he's with his grandparents this evening, which is a really special moment for him. So I'm sending him some love, but he's featured on this song with his Irish whistle. So I want to mention that because I love it. It's so much fun to play together and to create together and to have our love both on this song that, both of us with our Irish heritage, yeah, just supporting Bridget to continue to flow through the waters and anoint and welcome more people into her tapestry, into her weaving.
I once was a girl with long auburn curls, standing in a ray of sunlight. I walked to the well to water immortelle and sang to Bridget on high. La dee dee dum day, la dee dee dum day, la dee dee dum, la
So, as we have these harmonics, I invite you to gather your water, your sacred water, if you have some with you. And also, if you have some rosemary, some pine, spruce, balsam, juniper, whatever has arrived for you. Mm. Mm. So, the water in Mortel, this water, all water, our blessed water is holding the primary, the original creation, the geometry, the codex, the memory. Mm. And our longing for that prayer, for that revival, for that to take up space, just as we earlier on the call invited the radiance of Bridget, the emboss, the inspiration, the light to take up even more space. As our prayers, we invite this water to remember itself, to take up even more space in its primordial codex, in its original architecture. We create a stream of reciprocity between our bodies and the water. And we don't have to do anything for this to occur other than imagine, to be in the dreaming with it, to know that it is so. And that is such a childlike approach to truth and to magic. And as we remember ourselves as children, walking to the well, dancing in the sun, honoring what is and what always has been and what will always be. The water that could never be harmed exists in all water. We don't have to do anything for that to happen. It just is. So as we honor what just is, we honor it in this water, we honor it in ourselves, and we anoint ourselves and our space and our beloved and our ancestors, the guardians, the well maidens. We anoint with this truth, with this promise, with this understanding. Hail, Bridget. Blessed be Bridget, Bridget, beloved, beloved Brisha. Yay, Madison, I'm so glad. Yeah, in Song of Sophia, we have a ritual that we do with rosemary, the plant with oat straw, with dandelion, and it very much invites this song that Bridget has asked to be sung. It invites this song um, to be the way in which we approach the well, to approach the memory, and to offer it to um, all of our local water sources, our wild waters, our sacred springs, our wells. And let's just take a moment to imagine this remembrance being anointed across anybody who's willing it to occur right now. All of us gathered here, this understanding, this geometry flowing through our systems. Mhm. All we have to do is receive. Yeah. Hmm. Thanks, Kate. I love that it's a classic song. It's an old song. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Um, I'd like to also work with our flames, with our flames. So Bridget, She is of the water and she is of the flame. She is also of the land and she is also of the air. But really, truly, there is an entire, ooh, wow, massive grids of Bridget's flame here on this planet. I just want to let's take a moment and really tune into that. How deep and wide the flame of Bridget is here on this planet. Mm, mhm. In my home, in the most prominent corner of my home, we've been tending a perpetual flame in the eternal flame of Bridget, um, that I was anointed with very deeply in my being from the Bridgetine sisters in Kildare. And so we've had this flame lit here for 6 years. And I would love to offer anybody just the energy of this flame, the frequency of this flame. Of course, if you holding your own Bridget's flame and you feel more called to work with that, please, please do, beloveds. But for anyone who's interested in, you know, taking an anointing for their candle, this flame is here and generous and willing and mhm. Blessed be Bridget's flame of inspiration, the fire of her poetry. Blessed be the flame of Bridget's transformation, the fire of the forge, the fire, the spark that one can only find as they traverse the darkest night. The anointing of the swan woman, awaken the swan woman, it occurs through the forge. The woman that tends the edges for healing, for sovereignty. Mhm. Yes. I'm feeling all of our flames here. Mhm. And it feels wonderful. Mhm. Yeah, yeah. So the Bride of Avalon is a song that um a lot of it arrived at the White Spring in Glastonbury at the beautiful Bridget altar there at the White Spring. Um, and then it continued to arrive the next day at a well in Avebury, one of my favorite places in the whole world. I love, love, love that place. Feel so connected there. And this is my personal song of the year. This is the song that's offered me the most healing this year and the most transformation and the most softening in my heart and truth and forgiveness. And I'm so grateful to the Imbas, to the dawn of this flame in this song that arrived to support me in one of my hardest moments this year. And so this song here is very much about recognizing who's willing to receive the healing. If we're willing to receive the healing, here it is. And oftentimes, the one that is really wanting healing, sometimes we forget to ask. It's like we're doing all these wonderful healing things for ourselves, and there's this other layer of like this deep willingness to receive it, to ask for it, and continue to say, "Thank you. I see that. I receive that for all these little tiny bits of healing that show up." So there's a lot of gratitude in this song as well. So this is a song of water and flame, and may we sit with our flames here. And feel free to sing, feel free to ignite your flame. And please let me know if any visions occur for you or if anything comes through and we can add to the prayer together. So feel free to share in the chat and let's create together. Let's see what arrives.
spring, bride of mist and dark, lady of starfire, apple of the poet's dream. Make a wish if you please, one from the heart. May all darkness depart, like the sea, like the sea. She who holds the gift to cleanse all impurities, light my flame, the one true flame. She who holds the gift to cleanse all impurities, light my flame, the one true flame. Bride of Babylon, bride Babylon, bride Babylon, bride May all who are willing be touched by your healing. May all who are willing, waiting, be touched by your healing, by your She who holds the gift to cleanse all impurities, light my flame, the one true flame. She who holds the gift to cleanse all impurities, light my flame, the one true flame. Bride of Babylon, bride
Mm. There any messages or inspiration or healing? If anyone wants to speak in the chat right now, please feel free to just fill the flame, to fill the space with your voice, with what's arriving for you, what's true. Mhm. Oh, I love that day so much, Kate. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. You know, myself included, and so many I know, our ancestries are such a braid, such a weaving. You know, I can hear one grandparent talk about Bridget and Saint Bridget and Bridget of Kildare, and um, another elder talk about Bride and the Bridget of Brigantia and the ancestors of the British Isles also with Bridget um, and I really feel that here in the Bride of Avalon song, the way that um, all of the all of the illuminations of Bridget are welcome in Avalon. Avalon's a gathering place of the Bridgets, you know, all of us that have a different seed of her legacy, all gathering together to share it and to plant big medicine for the earth, radiating from this one place together, all of us traveling together to meet here to share the legacy of Bridget. All of us welcome here. Mhm. Mhm. Yay. Mhm. Mhm. Andrea, I just had a little a little spark of a vision of you at the White Spring. Uh, I'm so happy you'll be returning there sometime. It's so beautiful. Yeah. Well, mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to share something I wrote about Bridget and the tending of the edges, as there's a little bit of a conversation about that on the chat. And I think it would be a perfect time just to go into the spoken word that I've included on the album. And she really is the swan woman, is tending the edges. That's why she is the swan woman. That's why she has the wings, is to fly and tend these edges and be in the other world at the same time that she is here, you know, holding this flame, this lantern of the primordial light. Yes. And this primordial light is what the Swan Woman has recognized and what there is a revival of right now, and what Bridget is really asking me to deepen into in a big way for 2025, 2026. I'm inviting a group to do some study and some attunement with me on this exact transmission, this exact message and legacy, is that the primordial light of the Bridget of the Grail is the same as the primordial light of Saint Bridget, in the place where this is all actually Christ. Not Christ, the colonized version, but Christ of the one true flame, of that original divine spark. And this is the edge here that Bridget, who sings through me, the edge that she is tending, the swan woman in me, is tending this revival, this marriage, this remembrance of how all of it, all of this light here is the one true. And yes, it is called Christ. And so I'm inviting a group. Um, I'm calling it, I think, the Perpetual Flame Pilgrimage. I don't know exactly what I'm calling it. It's not 100% there. For a revival, I'm inviting a revival of the primordial she, the primordial Fae, the primordial light of Christ here and now in the marriage of all of the Bridget tapestries together through this one light that we can see as midwives of the plants. And the plants really teach this. It's the same exact light in the plant as it is right here in this word Christ. When you take away when you allow them both to shed like snakes, we end up at the exact same place. And this is what the swan woman tends here, the swan woman through me. And I have a song called Mary of the Gales for that remembrance. And so I think I'm just gonna play two in a row right now. We will go from Mary of the Gales into a much like a grounded spoken word, and just really honoring Bridget as the midwife between Christ, the one true flame, right? The primordial light that those of us with the ancestry of the Fae, of the wee one, of the she, can see in all of nature, and we can also see in the frequency of that word and the revival of the rebirth of the marriage of the primordial light and the patriarchy. It happens through the midwife of Bride, the midwife of Bridget. And it's the mystery. We don't quite know exactly how all of that turns out, but the more of us that turn towards it and devote ourselves to it and dedicate ourselves to what I'm calling I think Christed mysteries of the she, or mysteries of the Christed she, something like that. The more that we devote ourselves to those mysteries, the more we'll see that actualized here. The shedding of the snake. The more we'll see that actualized here, in actual embodiment, right? And flowing through the world and planting seeds and making waves. So, Mary of the Gales, may the divine masculine light, the light of conception that exists in each and every one of us, continue to go brighter and brighter through the midwifery of the swan, the woman who tends the edges of the patriarchy and the primordial.
It is you who craft the blessing of Christ and his bride. We honor you as Mary, inspiration of first light. Keep my matron safe and holy, singing in the golden white. When love rises from the forge, swan will take flight, take flight. Mary of the Gales, take flight. Wise women of the veil, take flight. Freedom's one's wings, blessings for those who bring, blessings for those who sing, blessings for those in between. It is you, wise women of the veil. Wise women of the veil. It is you who crafts a blessing of Christ and his bride. We honor you as Mary, inspiration of first light. Keep my matron safe and holy, singing in a golden white. When love rises, swan will take flight, take flight. Mary of the Gales, take flight. Wise women of the veil, take flight. Lead on swan's wings, blessings for those who breathe. Blessings for those who sing, blessings for those in between. It is you who craft the blessing of Christ and his bride. We honor you as Mary, inspiration of first light. Keep my matron safe and holy, singing in the golden white. When love rises, when love rises, swan will take flight. Mary of the gate, Mary of the gate, Mary of the gate, Mary of the gate, Mary of the gate.
Hail, Bridget, our dear Bridget, beloved beacon, bridge, Bannocked. May there be celebration of her dawning. Hark, Bridie the maiden, spring has come. May we serve a shared vision, all of us gathered by her high name, fed as one family, across seas and heathered plains. Hail Bridget, midwife of beloveds, of villages, of justice, opposition and liberation, the bridger of primordial light and patriarchy, pilgrim of the third way. Beloved Bridget, triple goddess, saint, inspiration of both Era and Avalon, arrow and hue, the harmony of lands, waters, craft, and flame. Honor women and their unique yet interwoven path of soul, service, healing, redemption for our mother kind, bridging motherlands, blessing motherlines, bearing mother's milk. Awaken the swan woman, the feathered spirit who flies in between seasons, in between rounds, tending edges of power. Power for the cauldron of the crone, of wild nature, power of domestic domains. What dies will be reborn. Hail, Bridget, the womb who can midwife both the Merlin and the meek, the politician and the pastor, the clever and the commoner. Blessed be the milk, Blessed be the honey, everlasting and returning each spring when the snow melts in the rivers. We together light the fires of purification. Hail, Brigid, beloved Brija. Hail, bride. Hail, Brigantia.
I'd love to invite your ribbons, your clooties, your brat brides, your cloth, your mantles, your thread in the tapestry. These are our prayers and these are our offerings. This is a ancestral tradition of the Celtic Isles of Ireland. We tie these prayer cloths on sacred trees. I highly recommend you use organic materials. And also, whatever the prayer is, may it be blessed. So I collect ribbons, I collect cloth, I collect mantles, and many of them are gifts. All of these ribbons here were gifts from sisters. Indeed, this is also a gift from a sister. And we have our sacred threads for the Brigidine tapestry, this entire womb grid of Brigid, the swan womb grid of Brigid, all of us flying in between, tending the edges and the power, bridging the primordial and the patriarchy, creating a third way. So on Imbolc, there are ancestral traditions, and oftentimes it begins on the eve of Imbolc. And of course, Imbolc is not just February 1st, but there are multiple ways to calculate the day of this festival. Of course, we have the Aquarius new moon, which many people like to celebrate Imbolc on that day, and that was that like January 29th, maybe, I think. And then, of course, we have February 1st, which is now a national holiday in Ireland. It is, as St. Bridget is recognized, it is a day, just like we have days here like President's Day there. St. Bridget's Day, yay, the divine feminine is recognized in Ireland on a sacred day. And we also have the 15th degree in Aquarius. Others celebrate Imbolc on that day as well. So this is an entire threshold, an entire portal. So tomorrow is another day to really celebrate Imbolc. It'll be the 15th degree of Aquarius. And so tonight is another Imbolc Eve. And on the eve of Imbolc, we have our brides, we have our cloths, we have our ribbons and our clooties, and we offer our prayers, our direct communication. What would we wish for the swan wings to graze upon, to touch, and to continue to fly to the edges, continue to spread around the world? Right? What are the gifts that we share, the prayers that we hold, and what are we asking for? On this call, we have all asked for the radiance of Bride, for her inspiration, her imbas, the dawn of the flame, for it to continue to grow in us. We've asked for that. And what a respectful ask that is. And of course, we hold prayers for our families, for our communities, for the world. And these prayers sometimes are just like we held the water, like we held the flame, this innate knowing that the divine immortality of love, the one true, is already here, pulsing in every living thing. What a prayer to allow that frequency to take up space, 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 space. For that to be the biggest thing in the room. What a prayer. That remembrance, that holding, that truth. All we have to do is receive the truth of the moment. There's nothing we need to do to make the divine occur. It's already occurring. We're just removing any sort of obstacle that keep us from that recognition. And so these these ties, they're usually tied at the wells on the sacred trees. And so if you'd like to dip whatever you brought forward into your water here, perhaps even let them soak for a minute or say some prayers with the water and your ribbons. Mhm. I will sing this last song. I'll play it, and it's the last song we'll share tonight. It's a song of celebration of all of the tribes of Bridget coming together. Now, all of us, we are her prayer. We are her destiny. And it is my favorite song. Right now, I'm really enjoying just the love that it's sharing with me through my system, and the power of prayer that it's creating for me. Mhm.
In the heart of the forest, I hear your name. In the belly of the forge, I hear your name. In the sigh of the spring, I hear your name. In the dawn of the flame, I hear your name. Oh, Bridget, I sing your harmonies when I hear your name. It comforts me. Oh, Bridget, daughter of the she, the earth is your mentor, and I, your destiny. Bridge, Brigantia, Brady, Frisia, Bridget of Kildare. Bridge, Brigantia, Brady, Frisia, Bridget of Kildare. Oh, Bridget, I sing your harmonies when I hear your name. It comforts me. Oh, Bridget, daughter of the she, the earth is your mentor, and I, your destiny. Bridge, Brigantias, Brigantias, Bridget of Kildare, Bridget of Kildare, they sang your Martias, Brigantias, Bridget of Kildare, Bridget of Kildare, they sang your Martias, Brigantias, Bridget of Kildare, Bridget of Kildare, they sang your Martias, Brigantias, Bridget of Kildare, Bridget of Kildare, daughter of the she. The earth is your mentor, and I, your destiny.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm. So as we are all here with our sacred waters, with our ribbons, just with our prayers, and the revival of our ancestral traditions, which are so illuminating and spreading through the grids. I don't think it's ever actually included this many individuals. Can you sense that? All of us here together, all around the world, with, the the bittersweet accessibility of technology. We're sharing and remembering in these traditions and in this ancestry. So I just want to acknowledge each and every family that has their prayers with the water and the flame and their ancestors. Mm. If anybody has any prayers to share, I'd like to keep it to literally like one word to 2 words to 3 words. And we could just unmute and just say those harmonized with each other and say those words here into our waters, into our prayers, and just let them be heard. I have a prayer for peace.
Liberation.
Song.
Family.
Remembrance.
Dance.
Honor.
Surrender.
Harmony.
Interconnectedness.
Ancestors. Ordinary love.
Serenity.
Love. Integration.
The clearest gems.
Evolution.
Harmony.
Clarity and courage.
Gestation.
Children.
Innocence.
Freedom and creation.
Sovereignty.
Liberation.
Channel flow guide.
Honoring the lands upon which you are all attuning with and tuning in from. And something that I really love to do, it just delights me so much, is when we can all just visualize and see the womb grid lighting up on the map, and just recognizing and seeing each one of us in our power and in our light and in our dawn and our destiny. Really honoring all of the inspiration of the families, of the sacred tenders of the flame and the water, of the grail keepers that have come before us, who have inspired us, and honoring those that will continue after us. One of the greatest teachings of the Gnostic tradition, of the goddess traditions, is that we all take turns. we all take turns. So I cannot wait to sing and hear and dance and rejoice with the prayers and the songs and the inspiration and the creations and the artistry and the poetry that comes through each one of you. So if any of you have a creation or a link to one of your creations or a website or something and you want to share it in the chat, please do. We can all honor and share and delight in the emboss and the flame of Bridget that's sparking in each one of our vessels. It's all coming from the same center. And also something that I just want to share as a reminder is, often when we feel the medicine of the forge, we can feel like the warrior energy. And, Bridget is a warrior. There's an essence of her that is a warrior, coming from even warrior heritage, and so sometimes when we hear forge, we can think of like armor. Like when we hear smithcraft or blacksmith, we can think of like metal and just hear maybe that clank of the fire and the hammer and like this sort of metal work, forge work. And it can kind of feel maybe hard, like a hard energy that we move into things with. But, what occurs when we're in the forge is actually a softening, you know? It's a shedding and it's a softening. So we're all here for the great softening. And as we continue to face whatever this year has in store, and I'm sure each of us are feeling an intensity in our own unique ways. So whatever, we do end up facing in this year, may we turn towards it in our absolute radiance and in the softening of the forge, the softening of that truth and holding that essence. Because for the divine to show up, we don't have to do anything. It's already here. It's the most potent, present, activated force on this planet. We don't have to do anything for it to arrive. It's already here. We acknowledge, we're willing to be it, and we remove the obstacle. And to remove the obstacle is often just a softening into the truth and into the presence of what is here. So many blessings on the great softening of 2025. And this is a year of the forge, a year of the snake. And I'm so happy to see some links coming in. Yay. Can't wait to see what's alive here in our beautiful sisters. And yeah, I'll keep the space open here on the Zoom for a few more minutes if people want to continue to share in the chat or just want to have some time to share vocally, or maybe something came through for them and during a song, or if you have any questions, I'm here. And I also want to invite you to a project that I'm doing. The deadline for the project is April 1st, so you have quite a bit of time to tune in and see how you would want to participate if you do want to participate. But I have a song called We Are Sophia, and the song is really about igniting the recognition of Sophia in the mundane, Sophia in the magic, but very much just in the everyday activity of the modern woman. Lots of times when we gather, we speak about like what the ancients did and what the primordials did. And I'm like, hey, we're here together right now. Like, what are we doing? We're going out for tea and we're kayaking and we're like, we're hanging out. So, it's just kind of a revival. Like, here we are, like, we're here together. We're talking about like what we used to do. Like, what do we do now? And I'd love to have a music video of just showing all of these beautiful ways in which we live our lives as Sophia. We are Sophia. So if you want to participate in that project, I just need like 20-second clips. And it's very easy. I think it'll be so super beautiful. I have a sister who's going to help me weave it together. And it's an amateur production. It's not, but it'll be beautiful. And so if you want to find out how to do that, it's on my website, which is songofsophiaschool.com. And there's a link to that. And I also, my next offering is going to be a deep dive with Bridget. And there's also a link to that wait list and that pilgrimage to Ireland and what that will be also on my website. So if anyone's interested in getting signed up just to know more about that, you can do that on the website as well. And that'll be like next fall, something like that. So there's quite some time, but I want it to be like a very devoted, intimate group. So I think if people were going to participate in that, because it'll be profound, profound energy, we'd start thinking about it now, you know. So we'd be in Ireland this time next year together. It's celebrating Bridget. And yeah, so thank you everybody for being here. And I'd love to just open it up. I'll stop the recording and